morning everybody. I'm just going to finish setting up the camera here so I can see what you're seeing. So push that back away a little bit. There we go. Wait for some more people to join us. Let's have a look. There we go. Okay, so we've got 4 people here. You have to excuse me today, I'm a little bit tired after our day out yesterday. It's Mum's birthday today, and yesterday we took her over to the Isle of Wight, to the donkey sanctuary. So that was quite a full-on day. Hi Andreen, hi Anne, morning Catherine. Okay, I think that's a good place for it. Let's bring these here. Yep, that's all good. Good morning Jane. Morning Catherine. There's Brian's here, as usual, making sure I don't go renegade on you.
Phillipa, you renegade.
Hi Denise. Okay, get myself sat down. Morning Yvonne. Oh, morning Sue. Hi Katie. Oh, brilliant. Hi Sandra. I don't know if anybody's ever tried flower building before. I hadn't done it for ages. For one of my Wednesday posts that I do every week in the group, I thought I'd have another go for something different. Then I got thinking, well, what other stamps of Julie's can I use to make up a flower? But you can pretty much use any single flower to create a bigger flower. So this was the one I originally did for the Wednesday post. Bring that up. As you can see there, apart from the glossies are on there, it's completely flat. So that's great for postage, because I think they've just put it up again. That's that one, and then the one we are making today is this one. Slightly different, and as I said last time, we did the stamping with stencils and we used a whole stencil. This time we're going to try it with like a partial stamp using the smaller ones, the background stencils, which I love. They're so useful, the background stencils. Okay, I'll put those to one side. So I'll just run through a few things that we're going to use. So again, to stamp on and do all the bits and bobs, I'm using the all-purpose card from Hazel, because we'll probably be putting some water on it again, and inks and oxides and everything. This will be ideal for it. So we'll be using that. And then we're using the Thinking Thank 'Em More stamp set from Julie. These are fantastic, these stamps. Love them. It's this bold, clear font. It's amazing. It adds so much. Hi Pam. They just add so much to, especially if you're doing CAS cards. They look brilliant. We've got the glossy dots in the cotton candy, which are so pretty. We've got those. We've got the backgrounds one, and today we'll be using the diamond. And I went back to the stamps, the Fresh Florals collection. And this was the fresh floral flowers that we're using today. So I've already got my mask cut out and ready, because you don't really need to see me cutting out those. So we're using that one and that one from that set, and from the Fresh Florals Heart we're going to be using this one. Just so we've got 3 different sizes of flowers to work with to build it up. Put that to one side. There we go. To actually stamp onto, I've got a 12 by 12 piece of card. The glossies are great, aren't they? Hi Maxine! Then the black mat is 12.4 by 12.4, just to give a slight edge, slight frame to your work. And it's a 15 by 15 card blank. So the first thing I would suggest we do is to actually stamp out. Hi Sheila. Let's get that there. Stamp out what we're going to use for masking. So hopefully you can see this. This is a mask it sheet. If you don't have any of these, what I would suggest you use is some very, very thin copy paper. What you might have to do though is to put some stencil glue just on the back if you have any. I know Pinflair do some. Morning Marley. So we give this an ink up. The reason we're doing this first is because you need to give it enough drying time, because obviously you're going to be touching this quite a lot. And that's another reason why I've already stamped some out. And not only will you get covered in ink, but your work might get covered too. Just give them a wipe. That's it. That one out the way. And we're going to do another medium and another small. We only need one of the large. Pick those up again. A little ink. Actually, when doing this, I find that if you've got an old ink pad, it's great for masking, because you don't need to get as clear an impression as you do when you're actually stamping out your project. Plus they're a bit drier, so they don't take as long to go. Right, so that's them ready. And then once they're dry, we cut round them as close to the line or on the line as possible. And then with this, all you would do is peel it back from the carrier sheet that's on the back there. Forward a bit. That's it. So we'll put those to one side. There we go. Let's make sure you can see that okay. Right, so the first one we're going to do is the small one. If I show you on here, the small flower that's right in the middle. This one is going to be on top, so we're stamping in the opposite way really. So the thing you want to be on the top that's not covered needs to go first. And that's the little one. Now it's a 12 by 12 piece of card, so this is why I've got the grid in here, So we can go 6 2 6, find the middle, pop that in the middle as near as possible, line that up. That's it, we're good to go. Bring that in, and we can put our piece of card in. That's it. Give that a nice ink. Press down lightly, give the ink a little time to settle into the card. That's it. That's our first one. And then all the others now are going to line up around it. So we're going to take one of our small masks. And the reason really you need these to be sticky and not just hold them down with magnets is because they're small, we're not going to have enough room. That's it. To put them down with a magnet and stamp over the top. Okay, so if we're going to go for the biggest stamp now, find where it looks the most pleasing, pop this directly over the top. You can line up the middle of the flower with the middle of the smallest one. Pick that up. Give that a good layer of ink. Move the cloth out of the way. Bring this down. There we go, so that's that one. Give that a good wipe. Okay, now we're going to carefully take off. I use tweezers to take the masks on and off most of the time. There we go. So now, as you can see, because we've masked it, the smaller flower is now on top of the larger one. If that makes sense. That's it. So we're now going to replace that mask for the large mask. Just peel it off the sheet. Make sure we've got this the right way. We can line it up by how the flowers look. I think it's that one. Yeah. So carefully place it over. So this one will be down for the whole time now. In. See, and this is why we need them to be dry, because otherwise we'd be putting ink everywhere. That's it, so that one's down nice. And we're going to go in with the medium size. And what I did with this is I lined it up with, hope you can see, with the gap in between these two petals. And bring this forward here, line that up. So the line goes there, and the two corner petals that are overlapping kind of match up with the sides of the masked one. Let me stamp it and you'll see that a bit clearer. Ink down. There we go. So as you can see, kind of these two more or less sit up against the larger petals there, and the line is in the middle there. Move my finger out the way so you can see. And we're going to go around and do exactly the same. So into middle. It doesn't matter if it doesn't turn out quite so. As long as you get them going round in a more or less circle. You could also with this one, because I was thinking when I was putting the flowers together, the medium and the small ones, it would look quite like a hydrangea. So you could build it up that way. And then we're going to move this one again. Line that up. Move it forward into there. Pick it up, ink it up. I'm cleaning as I go, otherwise, because we're positioning it straight onto the card, we don't really want to leave any inky marks. And you'll be able to see as you're doing it. You could build them up as large as you like, using the different sizes. I kept it just to the 3 today. Right, Sandra. Yeah, I have tried it in the past. It does make it go a little bit funny. You could try it on a test piece again, but I would say to leave it to dry naturally. It's because obviously it's got that sticky on it. That way. You'll also notice that some of these are closer than the others, and that is because our base flower, as you can see, there's gaps, bigger gaps and smaller gaps. Do not worry about it, because obviously it's a hand-drawn beautiful flower. The symmetry is, it's not always where you want it to be, but that is fine. Okay, so now we're going to go in, leave this mask where it is, and we are going to need to mask off 2 of the ones that we've just stamped. And let's see, on this one you can usually pick out a flower and a petal, which is slightly different to all the others. If I bring this up on my finger, you might be able to see it. So this petal here has got 2 lines in the middle that are really quite close together. Yeah, you have to be patient, I'm afraid. And then you can see where it is down here. Line that up. So. And we're going to go in with the small one. There we go. Going to have 1 central petal there. That'll be fine. Pick that one up. So if you're thinking about doing this, stamp out a load of different flowers that you like onto some masket, leave them overnight, and then the next day you're good to go. Now, when I was doing this the other day, I completely forgot to move one of my masks, which was really, really stupid. and had to start all over again. So you need to remember to move one, keep one in place and move the other one round. And we can line up the little one. There we go. Pop that in the middle. Try and line up around the edge as much as possible. But really don't worry too much, because all flowers are natural. Mother Nature likes to do her own thing. Very rarely get the perfectly symmetrical flower in nature. And it's just pretty, isn't it? Again, I'll use my tweezers, so we're going to move this one this time. Bring this down here. Let's find that one to mark up with. Little lines. One's there. I also prefer using a tweezer, because if I was to stick my finger over it, we really would get ink everywhere. Line that one up. Once you get into this, you can build them up quite quickly. Right, let's move this one. These tweezers I've had for years when I used to do beauty therapy. But they're great because they've got the pointed ends. Let's bring this one in. Lined up as closely as possible. Maybe move it in slightly. Okay. Ink this one up. Actually, I know a lot of people that like masking, which I do. When they get a new stamp set, they make masks for everything at the same time. So that might be quite a good habit to get into. I'll move this one. What's those lines? That's it, round this way. Hoping my head's not in the way or anything. I tried to position the camera so it wouldn't be. There we go. Pop this one in. This will be the last flower we do. Oh, hi Hazel. There we go. That's that one. Okay, let's get that all up. Okay, the next thing we're going to do while we've still got the masks on is we're going to add some of the leaves. So I've also got leaves from the Fresh Florals. Peel those off. There we go. So there we go. And these ones go both ways. They're brilliant. Right, so if I look at that, we're going to need this flower needs to be masked. Make sure we line that up properly. Okay. And move this one from this side. We'll pop it down here just in case we need to. It's better to make sure you've got things covered than not to, and then have overlapping lines or anything. And then we're going to need a couple of the smaller flowers. Ah, have a great workshop, Hazel. Thank you. Okay. And that one up, and then the second second smallest flower that we've made a mask for, we'll pop in this side as well. I can peel it off. Come on. That's it. And we're going to pop it on this part. Okay, so that should be covered now, so that we've got enough room to place our leaves. And then we're going to have one coming about here, and the other one coming up there, just going off into the corner. You can of course put them wherever you would like them to be. And then this ensures that they disappear under the flowers and they're not sitting over the top. Stamp these ones. The mask, you don't need to apply that much pressure where the join is between the mask and the card. Sometimes when you're using paper you get a little line in between because of the difference in depth. Should be fine. Okay, there we go. I'm going to leave some of the mask on there for now because we're going to stencil over the top of this as well. So let's get those all rub off. Move these out the way so I don't lose them. We'll take that out of there at the moment. Let's put this to one side. Okay, so if we look now at this, we can see that we're going to do some stenciling here and some stenciling here. So if we move some of the mask over just to protect what we've got, we can briefly line that one up there. It doesn't really have to be exact now. Move that one out of the way, and then the larger ones. There we go. Just so we're covering up the flower. You could have the stencil going over the top. Bring this in here. Just giving it a bit of protection so that it disappears behind. Now, I forgot last time, didn't I, about using a bit of scrap paper to stencil over. So I've got a bit of card here. Let's pop that down. And I'm going to use the diamonds. I am using peacock feathers today. It's one of my favourite colours. I'll be using peacock feathers and hickory smoke as well. So, using a foam blending tool, get that nicely loaded up, and we're going to squidge onto the back of the stencil. As you can see, this, it seems such a waste to lose all that ink. So dab that all over, get a nice amount on there. Let's move this. Lift that up. You can see you've got a decent amount of ink on there, and we can move this out of the way. Going to bring our card back in, and then I'm going to spritz the back of this with some water. I'm just going to do that to the side of the desk so I don't get everything covered in water. quite a nice amount of water on there. And then the line up here, we don't want to put it flat down because we're only partially using it. And you kind of want to roll it slightly. And the same as with this technique that we did the last time, it will be different every single time. That's it. Look, we've even got some of the squares as well. And then you want to go straight in.
Wasn't it?
Yes, it was peacock feathers, this one. With a bit of a kitchen towel, just to mop that up, give that time to soak. There we go. And we've got our stamped impression from the stencil. As I say, it is a little bit trickier when you've got the rest around them. And I wouldn't suggest masking them off either, because you will then get the lines of the masking tape. It's much better to get the rest of the image. We're going to stamp around this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Let's move this to one side. We need to place our mask back round down this side now. Get those covered.
Did you notice when Hazel popped in?
Yes, yeah.
You've got to behave yourself because Hazel's about.
There we go. Make sure that should be fine, I think. Just those two done. Maybe just pop the little one back this side, just in case. There we go. I always like it's working diagonally, if that makes sense. Bring the scrap paper in again.
Not diagonal.
Not diagonally, no.
Oh, okay.
You could line this up if you wanted to, if you're going to use this for something later. So we've got a nice background. That's okay, Glenda. Hope you get on all right. There we go. Squidge this through again. It's more of a pouncing technique on here. But this will be great for another background. She's cut into it, die cut into it. I like cutting the alphabet dies onto things like this, onto backgrounds. Just makes them a bit more interesting. There we go. So that's something we can use later for another project. Oh, just lost my other bit of paper. Okay. Then we'll bring in our project again. Hope you can see that. Okay. I'll give this a spritz. That's okay, Lynn, don't worry. And we're just gonna go in about here, just to link one corner to the other. Just add that in. Give that time to soak. We're just like rolling. So we try not to get the lines around the outside of the stencil. Hello, Debbie. There we go. That's that one. And we'll get our tissue in again. Mop that up. There we go. And that's the last part. We have gone a little bit over the leaves, but that's fine. We're going to colour them in anyway. Let me just give this stencil a bit of a clean. Give it a proper wash later. Okay, there we go. So that's that done. Right, so now we can take these masks off. see what we've got. Yeah, thank you, Muriel. And then the one in the middle, which once this one comes off, it will start to make more sense. So you haven't got a load of over stamping. That's it. There we go. That's that. All done. There we go. And I think what we'll do, I did get one done already. But if we just give this a quick blast with the heat gun. Just say, is yours plugged in, Brian?
It is.
Brilliant. We'll just give this a blast. Again, I would probably prefer to do this naturally. It's a gentle waft. I'm going to colour in the flowers. Thank you, Lynn. That's all right, Michelle. It's nice to see you. Lifting it away from the mat so the heat goes all the way through and we don't get any moisture collecting onto the back. We give the stamping a waft as well. Also turn it over and go in from the back. That helps the card to even up as well. It does go really wobbly, whatever card you're using. Just pop it under something heavy like your die cutting machine or a few books for half an hour or so and it'll be fine. That should be good. There we go. Just manipulate it a little bit to get it okay. As you see, this card can take quite a lot. Yeah, that's Brian's heat gun. I've got the WOW one, but Brian's got that that pit. I'm not sure where that came from.
25 years old.
Oh wow, 25 years old. There we go. All right, just gonna pop that out the way as well. Ready for later. Right, today I am going to colour in with the Deco Time alcohol markers. They did have a show on Create and Craft the other day, so I know you can probably get them from there. I originally got these from the range. Order. There we go. So for the actual flowers, we've got whatever pens you're using or pencils to create some very basic shading today. You just need a dark, a medium and a light, and then all I've got for the grey are two, just a medium and a light grey just to go in so it's not too harsh. So I think we'll go in and we'll do the centres first because that's quite easy. And coloured. These are lovely pens actually, considering that they are very reasonable. I've never used Copics. I was always using Pro markers, but these seem to work very well. Okay, and with the leaves, always start with the darkest colour first. As I say, this is just some basic colouring in today. Darkest at the bottom. Just do some round there because that's where some shade would be. Some in the corner here. A bit around there. And going with a lighter colour, I'm using the fine nib, not the brush. Blend that in. You could take a lot more time over this, of course. We're just going to create some light and shade so they're not completely flat. It also helps with the 3D nature of the stamping technique as well. A little one there. You can see that okay. So that's the greys done. Just going to grab this paper here. I'm just going to check that I've got the right tones on my pens. The lids can sometimes be a bit deceiving. They're not quite the colour you expect them to be. There we go. Let's have a little look at that. I think probably that one is darker than that one, even though just by looking at the lid it looks different. So we'll start with the darkest again, but in the green. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, and we're going to start going round the edge of the middle flower, which I haven't coloured in yet, just in case. We need to blend it out. There we go. We'll start that with the centre. I'm going to go straight in, but let's do the brush nib on this one. Cover some ground quicker. Blend that out. Alcohol markers are so magical. I love using the watercolours and things, but you get such clean results with this. And bright colour. Hello, Shell. Thank you. It's nice to have you here.
Oh.
And we're just going to go in again.
Oh, Shell, you're right.
Over here. Just to emphasise the stamens. You can go over things as many times as you like. And there. So now I'm going to go back in with the grey on here. Just in case I'd gotten a little bit overzealous with my markers. I'm just going to do those little bits there as well in the darker colour. There we go. Obviously you can choose whatever colours you like. You can use whatever mediums you like. You could do this with oxides.
You could do this with Inktense pencils.
You could do these with Inktense pencils, which I haven't got. Brian has. Okay, so
Posh pencils.
we'll move away from the darkest colour of the that now. And go in with this one again. We're going to go all around the insides, just roughly, just creating a little suggestion of depth in the flowers. So do these separately because I think it makes a little bit more sense. Come in, blend it all out slightly. And then we can go back in and add some definition after. Watercolour pens would be nice for this as well. You get more of a cleaner colour. Some of the watercolour pencils give you that chalky residue. And I just thought this style of card would be nicer. If only, Debbie. This one. I would be more drawn to using the watercolour pencils or the distress pencils. If I was doing something not grungy, or country chic, or something more organic, but as this is quite a modern card, I wanted to keep it quite clean and bright. Just emphasise these little bits on the outsides of the petals as well. Okay, and we can go straight into the last lot of flowers on the outside. It would be lovely if you're going to try this and see what colours you come up with. Yellow and grey would be nice also. That's a classic combination. Bring that out with the lightest shade. Go right in as well so that the flower is cohesive and makes sense, so that all the inside is coloured. As you can see, our coal markers are quick as well. These just a touch. Done that one already. And then all I'm going to do is just go around the outside where petals overlap, because that is where naturally there will be a little bit of shade. One and over there. You don't have to do this, it's just something I like to do. You could go over it several times if you wanted to create more of a 3D look. I think that will do for now. Oh, hope it's all right, Shell. Hope you get on okay. Okay, so there we go with that one. This will be, yeah, that's fine. That's nice and dry. What we're also going to do is a bit of drawing through the stencil. That'll be fine to do. I think though we'll stamp our sentiment first. That will make more sense. Bring the stamping platform back in again. So, Inktense pencils.
Oh, right.
Debbie says so.
Oh, Debbie said. So I've got to get it now then, Debbie.
So, let's take our stamp out. Thank you, Catherine. Could be birthday sentiment, any sentiment you like. So let's line this one up. I think because I've popped it, done it slightly differently. I think we'll have the thank here. If we do it this way, we could emphasize the diagonal as well. And I'm going to use an oxide for this. A little bit over. Make it slightly different to the first one as well, which is always nice. Move those bits out of the way. Mustn't get the boss's desk untidy.
The boss. Yeah, right.
Give this a good squidge. That releases the dye that's in here as well as the oxide. We will have to go over this a couple of times, I would imagine. Give this a nice press down because it's a good block of colour. It's not like the beautiful delicate fonts where we only use Julie's fairy fingers. Give that chance to sink in a little bit. Yep, as you can see, we build this up, give that another squidge, tap. You could do this in 2 tones of oxide if you wanted to. So
Uh-oh, the boss is watching.
Hi, Julie! You could have the peacock feather there and the grey there, or vice versa.
But Julie, does that mean I have to behave myself?
Yeah, definitely fairy fingers. Right, I think one more will be fine, and that will cover that perfectly. We'll get that lovely block colour that you get with these sentiments. You could, of course, just do black. That's it. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous. Give it a rub. I would give that a proper wipe over later. Because it's got the oxide on it, if we go to put anything else on there, it will react. Because as we know, they're water reactive. You'll end up getting some sort of weird colour combination, which could be interesting, I guess. And then we want the U. Let's find that. And this time we'll have this coming down in this side. Line that up. Yep, that way. That's it. There we go. I'm going to use the black ink on this one so that it stands out. A little bit of ink. This time we are doing fairy fingers.
Only because the boss is there.
Because it's the nice finer font. That's it. And again, leave that to sink into the card. know sometimes it seems like it's a bit of a hurry and what have you, and you think, oh, I haven't got time for this. But it will be better if you can let the ink sink in. There we go. Beautiful impression. So we can take those out of there now. That there. Just bring this up and show you. There we go. Let's catch up.
Beautiful, my dear.
There we go. So that'll do. I love these fonts. They're brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. There we go. Right. Just going to get this card again. Just go over the top of what we've just done. Just so that when I'm going over it, I'm not likely to smudge anything. You could go over it with the heat gun again. So, okay. I'm going to be using a black gel pen. Thank you, Yvonne and Pam. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Brian.
You're right, my girl.
Let's get our stencil back. Now this, we're going to line up as best as possible. I think you can see that. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Michelle. So I've got my black gel pen, which I find, I've tried other pens as well. These don't leave a trace as much as the others. Just pop my other glasses on as well so I can see what I'm doing. Some pens you have to be very wary of because they will leave a mark or when you pull the stencil away. So I'm going to join the design in there. I think we'll have one down here. Just go around what you've got. I do try to get one sort of under the flowers so it makes a little bit more sense. So we'll have those two there. Thank you, Maxine. Again, line your stencil up. It won't be exact because obviously we've got the bleed of the colour. We'll put one under here, just drawing around and up to the flower, and then one down here. Shall we have another one? Let's have a look underneath. That will be fine. That's it. This just adds something different. And we're going to go in with a black pen this time. Turn it that way so I'm not putting my hand over it. You can still see that. I'm just going to carefully fill this in with the black pen. Try not to go over the lines. It seems to link up the bold of the sentiment with the rest of the design, which I like. And it will tie in with the black mat that we're going to have underneath there as well. I noticed recently that I seem to put black mats under everything now. Hardly ever put a colour underneath. I don't know why that is. But I'll have one down here, which is going over the edge of the design, linking everything in. There we go. I don't know, just that little bit makes a huge difference. Okay. now we're going to glue everything together. It's a new glue bottle, so hopefully that's working. So it's the 15 by 15 card blank. I've got some true black card here as well, which is 12.4 square. So it's just a very thin frame around your work. Yeah, that's fine. It's new. As I say, it's a new bottle, so it's coming out a bit weird at the moment. It's quite thick. But it sticks, it's fine. Does the job. It does, doesn't it, Julia? I think that's what I like about it. It just draws everything together. Okay. Completely placing that by eye. A good squish down. Okay, Sandra. Yeah. Oh, you're moving. Oh dear. That's awful when everything's in boxes and you can't get to it. Hope it all goes well. Just going over that. Just a bit of copy paper. I do this all the time now. I've gotten into the habit of doing it. And we'll pop this down. A little bit of glue. This down. Get it even all the way around, hopefully. This is the worst bit. And then go over with this so we can squish it down. Really helps. Also, if you get any seepage, it mops it up as well. And then finally, we're just going to pop some glosses on. Let's put the lid on my glue. Otherwise, I really will be in trouble then. I thought these ones, the cotton candy, matched nicely with what we're doing. I think we'll go for the medium colour on the teals. That goes nicely. These are brilliant. So start off with a big one at the bottom. Do it slightly differently this time. One next to the U. So we draw our eye to that. And there. See this? That's squish. Another medium. There we go. I'll have one here, I think. A teeny tiny one. I tend to do the bigger at the bottom. Give it with my finger. Come off your little what's it. That's it. Larger at the bottom, smaller at the top. And we'll have another one. There. And maybe another one over here. Just like a little sprinkling. That's it, and that's this one finished. So
Beautiful,
a little bit different to the first one, which is nice. There we go, you can see those. Obviously you can put them round whichever way you like. use different stencils, different stamps, whichever ones you prefer. As I say, it's completely different to that first one I did, this one. So I just think doing the different things with the stencils really enhances your projects. Really helps to make them look completely different, and you're trying something new, getting into new techniques and ideas, getting the most out of the products you've bought as well, which is always good. So that's that Technique Tuesday today, the third one. We'll be back again in a fortnight. I shall be working on something different to use again, maybe some more masking techniques to link in, which would be good. Thank you, Julie. You are welcome. So thank you all for joining us. It's lovely to have you here crafting along. Just having a natter, just having a relaxer chat, which we all need, I think. Hope you all have a really lovely day. Again, you're all very welcome. Really welcome. Just move up.
You're welcome,
That's
Andrew.
Thank you. Thank you all. Take care. I shall see you in a fortnight, if not before. There'll be my Wednesday post as well. Have a great day. Please try some of the techniques. I would absolutely love to see what you're making. That would be fantastic. So take care. See you soon. Bye.